Good evening, everyone. My name is Cynthia McElroy. I'm over North People's Assembly, Office of the Mayor. North People's Assembly is responsible for engaging the community, making sure your voice heard. Today, we're here at the DPW Town Hall meeting with Mayor Baraka and our awesome DPW team. First, we're going to thank Pastor Rolando for allowing us to use his church. We're going to lead with prayer, and then we'll open up to begin the meeting.
Okay. Good evening, Newark residents, and God bless you. My name is Rolando Santiago. I've been a pastor here since 2012, and believe it or not, Luis Quintana, councilman at large, grew in this church, and he played on the gym at this church, and we've been in partnership with the city for a while. I do welcome you all here, and I'm glad to be in partnership with the city of Newark, and just one hospitality instructions. If you need to use the restrooms, it's going to be on my left side, that door, and then you make a left down the hall is going to be the restrooms. There's refreshments outside, and let's pray. Lord, we give you thanks for this day, for all the happenings, the work that we have done, the opportunity to earn our bread for our families. We give you thanks for bringing us together as a community. And as we share our concerns, our questions regarding the service, may your wisdom and peace and patience be with us, that it becomes a very fruitful meeting, that we find solutions for any problems that we as a community are facing right now. We pray for traveling mercies for our mayor that is on his way, and anyone who's just to arrive. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I want to acknowledge our lovely police captain from 3rd Precinct. You want to come introduce yourself, please?
Right, good evening, everyone. I'm Captain Rodriguez. I'm the commander of the 2nd Precinct, 1 Lincoln Avenue. I can't help you with your DPW issues, but I can help you with your police and public safety issues. So that's what I'm here for. So if you guys have any concerns that you want to bring to my attention, this is your chance to ask me any questions, and I'll try to assist you in whatever I can.
Thank you. Want to thank Mayor Baraka. Do you want to open and say, or we want to start with DPW? Okay. So we do have our full DPW team here. We have, you guys want to introduce yourself and what is it that you do? You can come up one by one.
How y'all doing? I'm Hassan McBride. I'm in charge of cleaning up city property, vacant lots, and vacant houses as well.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Clyde. I oversee the customer complaints for Department of Public Works, and any questions or concerns, I will be circulating the room, trying to help everybody with their issues.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hamza Terry Smith, and I'm the manager of recycling collections. If you have any questions or any problems, please feel free to ask whatever it is that you need to ask. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Luis Matos. I am the Assistant Director of the Department of Public Works. Management team is here. Director Will.
Thank you. Hello, Mayor. Good evening. My name is Tariq Golan, Interim Director of DPW.
Good evening. My name is Abdul Stewart. I'm the Supervisor of Street Cleaning.
My name is William Shipley. I'm the Superintendent of the Department of Public Works. I'm in charge of cleaning up the streets, sidewalks, and vacant lots.
My name is Sean Trainum. I'm one of the DPW superintendents.
I'm Ryan Metz. I'm the Tree Superintendent.
Thank you, guys. Now we're going to have words from Tariq Roland. You want to, give a brief discussion, and then we'll open up for questions.
So good evening again. Today we're here to bring together, to kind of bridge the gap between the residents and our operations. We can talk about, recycling schedules, and I'm pretty sure folks would like to know as we've switched our schedule back and trying to build it flat at the same time and communicate our refuse collection, what's going on with bulk, street cleaning, leaf pickup. We can talk about our spring and summer cleanliness plan. We can open up for questions. You want to start off questions?
Start with questions, yes.
Yes.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor. I'm a resident. My name is Dr. Dexter Allgood. I live at 540 Ridge. I put my leaves out the night before.
Mm-hmm.
They never picked them up. The next day, I called the sanitation department about it, and then they told me leave the leaves there, and they would pick them up the next day with the regular trash. I got a violation, and I'm concerned about that because I'm trying very hard to comply with all the laws of the city, and that is an issue that we need to resolve.
So, first, I apologize. We apologize for that. One of our team members will take down your information. We'll work with the courts and our sanitation inspectors to, get rid of the violation. And so you're putting it out on the fourth Wednesday, correct?
I put it out Tuesday night.
For the fourth Wednesday?
On the fourth Wednesday. They never picked it up. I called the Department of Sanitation, and they told me leave it there till the next day, till they picked it up on Friday. I got a violation.
Good evening to everyone. The mayor, welcome, and all of you. I thank you guys for what you do. I know you guys do a lot of work in the city, right? But there's a lot of times that there's misinformation going around. Last night, my neighbor was moving today. She had to be out of the house today. So she was taking out some of the stuff, and I said, look, you need to make sure that you have everything tied down. The mattresses are all wrapped up in plastic and all that. And I called in the afternoon for the lady. I spoke to Maria in 7330644, and she told me, the way to do it with the bags and whatever, right? She said no construction stuff, no batteries, or no paint, whatever. And she did everything she was supposed to do correctly. But in the middle of the night, there's people that come by, and they started opening boxes and opening bags and taking this stuff. And that this morning, they picked up all the garbage, all the bulk from the area, except hers. And I said, well, wait a minute, I see why they didn't pick it up, because, they made a mess. And, I don't know if there's somebody policing that, these people that are coming by, and a lot of them don't even live here. They come from out of town, and they just take like the steel and that, whatever it is, and that. That's one thing. Another thing is that on Wednesdays we put out our garbage to be picked up on Thursdays. Lately, the recycled cans are being picked Wednesday night, about 7:30. Okay. And then those that didn't take out the garbage at that time, the next day the garbage, the recycle is not picked up, and it's sometimes left there 2 or 3 days, And we want to know what can we do as homeowners and residents to make sure that we don't get fined, and that the guys that took that didn't pick up the garbage told the lady, the owner of the house, not the resident that was leaving, that she was going to be fined. And I said, well, wait, I think their job is to be picking up garbage, not to be talking about fines and that, But that's something that I just had to get off my chest. Thank you.
No, thank you. So I agree. I'll answer both questions. So the first one about the bulk, right? Someone going through it. This is why it's important to be able to have meetings like this and communicate. So on our end, my team members, our staff, more than likely thought that was probably illegal dumping just based upon, right? The best thing about this meeting is that we can communicate, and if you, now you can get someone's number, someone can have your number, and those are problems that we can fix, right? Our guys wouldn't know, no one should be telling someone that they're going to get fined. That is for us to do as far as it pertains to code enforcement. But you can share your information with Brian in the back. That's the first question. The second question about the recycling is solely on me and us. When I started in October, November, we began to experience a lot of cold weather and we had separate shifts, right? The thing about Zone A and Zone B, I know that some residents, as it pertains to recycling, not everyone was getting their materials collected overnight. So we had certain areas getting collected overnight, certain areas getting collected in the daytime. So that, so like we had staggered shifts. When the weather got colder, it began to impact us, right? Just falling short on staff, equipment, all of those things. So we had to make a change. We made that change, I think, in January or February to where we began to collect the day of, right? So we made that pivot real fast, real quick, move on the fly, and began to communicate. The issue with collecting on the day of was that most residents were still placing their trash out, compliance with the ordinance. So that means your trash is on Monday, right? Monday or Thursday?
Monday.
And Thursday. Okay, so when we switched it to 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. the day of, you would place your things out Monday morning before you're going to work, right? We wouldn't collect it if your street was the last street or somewhere in the middle of the route, sometimes maybe 1 or 2 a.m. So we knew that we were being effective, but materials were blowing. So then we had to make another decision. How do we, maximize our resources and try to service you all better? So we began to change the schedule, and we started on March 17th, I believe, collecting 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. the day before. We have flyers in the back. Yes, for the recycling. So what you should do is place your trash out and your recycling out on Sunday night and Wednesday night. Your recyclables will be picked up 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. the day before. We're behind because as we're getting adjusted to the schedule and communicating with the residents, unfortunately, we didn't have time to say, hey, let's wait 2 to 3 months and let everybody get on board because materials were flying all over the place and we wanted to address that issue. So we're kind of doubling up in each zone. So you can tell everyone who's in your community on your block to place it out Sunday night and Wednesday night the day before. So by the time you wake up, your recyclables should be gone. And by the time you come home, your trash should be gone. And we apologize for that too.
My name is Gladys and I live on Halleck Street. And lately, it's been way before March 17th. If the bottle recycling sits there for 3-4 days, right now if you go, the bottles from last week are all down the block. They haven't been picked up. Had I called, they would have sent somebody out because that's what was happening before. I would call or my brother would call and maybe 2 hours later they'll send somebody out, pick up all the recycling or the garbage, usually the boxes.
You want to speak to that? I can also speak.
So you calling now and nobody's coming, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I call, when I call, they come out.
We come.
Or still today, if you
Still
call?
today, it's there.
They just don't pick it up when they're supposed to?
My apologies to you and to the community if it's any fault on the city's behalf. I take full responsibility of that. But today is your pickup day for cans and bottles. Is that correct?
Yes.
And they will be over here?
Thursday.
Yes. Today is Wednesday, so your collection for your cans and bottles will be tonight. So they will be over here tonight. And I'm sorry for the delay to all the residents in the city of Newark that we have been behind, like a day behind in the scheduling. We were spending 2 days in each ward to do the same job that we was doing in 1 day. Being that the scheduling has been changed, and a lot of residents don't know the new scheduling, we're 1 day behind, but we're correcting it now. So they will be over here today to abate this whole area, District 13.
We should be informed ahead of time. My other concern is what happened to the garbage cans?
So I can answer that. I'll answer, but the first question, with the schedule, that was solely on me, right? And I apologize for that, having to make a big decision, for an entire city, that's not always going to be effective, right? So I will say that I apologize for that. As it pertains to the scheduling, we are getting better, right? We're building the plane and flying at the same time, but that's solely on me, and we'll get better. As it pertains to the trash cans, so first thing, Mayor Baraka, because, I don't think any other city, has given trash cans to residents for free, so that's the first thing. We had to phase it out due to the cost of the trash cans. We didn't have a pot of money to where we can say, hey, let's spend $3 million and distribute those, right? But it was also a time to build and assess. What we did was, right, we went by our data. And what I mean by that is that we chose the most areas that had the highest problematic as it pertains to litter and its tonnage, right? So we looked at it from our end. And we apologize, we couldn't give everyone a can. So this is why sometimes, you know, a lot of residents call and say, hey, well, this side of my street got it, but it stopped and we didn't get it. Yes.
Nobody on my got it.
Send your information to us. Everybody should get a can. So we're going to make sure you get a can. Send your information to the city to make sure you get one. That's unacceptable. And anytime there's a change, the residents should know before we make the changes.
All right, I'd like to go to street cleaning. Sorry, guys.
No, it's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
That, you know, street cleaning. You go to, sorry. You go to Belleville, you go to Montclair, you go to Kearney, you go to anywhere. And when they're doing street cleaning, the truck is spraying water so that it's not blowing everything back onto the sidewalk or whatever.
We have.
But not in Newark. Not in Newark.
So you're saying that we aren't using water, or you aren't needing streets, or was it both?
We're supposed to use water.
And nothing with the trucks. When they come street cleaning, I'll blow everything out and away from the curb so that it gets swept. When the sweeper's coming by, but all, you know, it's dry, so all I'm doing is blowing it back.
Okay.
If I'm standing there, it blows right in my face.
You saw the street sweeper with no water in it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Our street sweepers have water, don't they?
Yes.
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 So I don't know what you're saying if they're not having water. I don't know if they're not filling it up with water. I don't know what's going on, but.
Maybe they're trying to finish the route and we back in time. The per block is from 8 to 12, and we use water because we have to. We get this issue all the time. But I'm not going to say my guys is not going to try to finish their route. Let's say if your block is the last block on the route, if they don't got no water, yes, they're going to try to come without water to finish it, to meet the 12.
Can you check that? You should be, just inspect that and make sure that the people on her block, when they go to street sweepers, have water on her block. Because we have water in our street sweepers.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Maldonado, and I live on Parker Street in Forest Hill. You know, I can echo everything that's been said here. We have had very, very bad communication in terms of your new recycling schedule. Those of us that got the information from the Forest Hill Association were able to put our trash and our recycling out on the new day, March 17th, and then nothing happened. And the recycling didn't come. It sat there for about 2 weeks, to be honest with you. So, you know, I understand that you guys are trying to catch up and what have you, but the lack of information that's being given to the community, there's nothing. Unless you are with the association or unless you go onto the website, which is not great either. So there has to be more communication.
So when you say you went onto the website, what happened in your experience?
There's not information, there's just says there's new recycling.
It says what?
New recycling dates
Right.
that are set up.
So what were you looking for
But
specifically?
the recycling did not happen.
Okay, no, I understood that.
Okay.
When you said you went on the website, it wasn't great, what did you mean by that?
Well, the information is not updated, so if we're
Okay.
supposed to find information about what has happened for the last 2 weeks about our recycling, it's not there.
Okay.
So we're not getting the back and forth information.
Right.
Again, we rely on the association, it gives us the information, but that's not a mechanism for us to be able to get information in a timely manner. So that's part of the problem.
Yep.
I have a whole list, so watch out. There is a severe lack of garbage cans on the street. There's people that walk up 2nd Avenue from Mount Prospect all the way to the park, and there's no trash cans. So folks that are walking down the street.
You mean public?
Public, yes,
Yeah.
public trash cans. So there's no place to put garbage. So people walk and leave garbage on the ground. So you'll see that on 2nd And if there was an effort to have garbage cans on 2nd Avenue and potentially Ballantyne and Heller, which are big streets, that could help tremendously. There's a lot of people with dogs in the neighborhood, and I curb my dog, lots of people don't, but they'll leave the bags as they walk. So we're lacking on that as well.
People were taking the cans, but that's not an excuse not to replace them, but people were taking the cans.
Understood. I've lived here for 10 years. I've never seen a can on 2nd Avenue, on Ballantyne, on Heller. And I walk my dog constantly, so there's nothing there. I'm also very interested in the fact that, you know, I understand quality of life issues, but for myself and others here probably, I got a violation today because my lawn was too high. You know, in a growing season where everything's growing at a tremendous pace, and all of us have jobs.
Right.
So to get a violation notice that I have weeds on my lawn, bad on me, but to not address the quality of life issue of trash is, I just think it's inconsistent in terms of what you're trying to do.
You probably got a violation because somebody called the people.
No, supposedly one of your inspectors, well, I can show it to you, so I'm not gonna argue with you, but an inspector supposedly came by.
Yeah, but that's when they come by because somebody probably called.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling you.
I know my neighborhood, that's not the issue. So we have that as well. Also, there is a tremendous amount of speeding on the roadways and on our blocks. There's kids, there's elderly people. If there could be more speed bumps placed in different roads would help. It helps tremendously because the difference between the people that speed or don't speed down Ridge versus a through street like my own, Parker, is tremendous. And people will just use those roads that don't have speed bumps to rush down the road.
Right, so the city can't just place speed humps indiscriminately. What happens is the block has to petition your council person who goes to, and has to get signatures from people on the block who goes to traffic and signals, and they have to do a traffic study. We can't just place speed humps without a traffic study.
Okay.
So that's the process to have. So if another block has that, they went through that process. So that means that your block has to do the same thing.
Well, I figured Ridge had it because there's a school there, so I understand that.
No, it's because some blocks can't get speed humps because they're throughways for emergency vehicles or their county roads.
Okay.
So we can't place a speed hump unless the engineering department through traffic and signals allows us to do that.
Okay.
Or we can get sued. So there's a process to that.
I've learned something here.
Yeah.
In the last 4 years, I have called the area that deals with trees. I have a severely damaged tree on my block in front of my house. I continue to call. I've been told I've been put on a list, then the list is changed, and then I'm put on the list, and someone's supposed to come.
Yep.
No one comes. Now, that tree is the responsibility of the city until it falls on my house, and then it becomes mine.
It depends on where it is. That's number one. I'll let the arborist talk.
Well, it's on the curbside, and so it's a city tree. Once it falls on my house, it becomes my problem. Or if it hurts someone, it becomes my problem. I will tell you that is what my insurance company is telling me. So I'm not gonna. I don't want to. I'm not here to argue.
I just want to give you information. I'm not trying to argue.
I'm trying to
I just
say
want to
there
make
are
sure you
things
have the information.
that, you know, we make phone calls, we get our names on lists, and there does not seem to be a responsive nature of, we've come to your house, we've seen X, Y, Z, what have you.
So I've stopped people from cutting down trees in Newark, so that might be a part of it. I'll let the arborist talk about that. But I've stopped that, but go forward.
So I'll get your information in just a bit, and I'll make sure we can get someone out there very soon to address this. You know, we're working on expanding our team and our capabilities, so apologize if it's taking a long time, but I'll definitely be able to help you.
And we just hired an arborist because people were cutting down trees that were not dead. We can't cut down a tree if it's not a dead tree. So we've been cutting down a lot of trees that were not dead, and I made an order here on the executive side to stop trees being cut down until we hire this man so he can make a decision about what trees should be cut down and what trees shouldn't be cut down. So some of the backup could be related to that. It could be related to people not doing their job too, but it could also be related to the fact that I told folks we can't cut down any more trees until we get somebody that can define the trees that should be cut down and the trees that shouldn't be.
Okay.
How about pruning the trees?
And they can prune it as well. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people pruning trees. PSE&G, us, everybody else. We can do that, but I would rather us not make a decision on that, because the guys that you're calling to do these things are not experts on trees. Newark has a very serious problem of particulate matter in the air, of kids having asthma, of the heat index being too high. We need our trees. And so as a result of that, we had to make sure we had an arborist who were making scientific decisions about us going out and messing with the trees in the city of Newark. So now we have somebody on our staff. They can direct DPW and everybody else in terms of what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. We're trying to plant 500 trees a year in the city of Newark. So we don't want to plant trees and cut down trees at the same time. So we need to make a decision about which ones we're doing.
Just regarding the trees, before you run away, are you talking about trees that are just curbside or
No, all trees.
On private property as well?
Well, we can't get on your property and mess with your tree, right?
However, I reported someone who cut down half their tree in front of my window and it left it. It's just there. And they put all their branches and basically have another tree they cut down
Yeah,
illegally.
and that's one of the reasons why I
Branches
stopped
are at the
everybody.
curb,
Yeah.
So
which Newark doesn't pick up.
we have instituted a permit policy.
Right.
So what that requires is that if it's on a public space, it absolutely needs a permit, and if it's on a private space, we also are requesting applications for permits, just so that we can track these kinds of things and track the changes in the canopy of the city.
So, excuse me, you're requesting applications or demanding applications?
We're requesting that people file applications for private property.
Okay, so that would be the argument of my neighbor, that
Yeah.
it doesn't have to.
At
Yeah,
the moment,
because we
no, but
can't
we're working
deny
on revamping our whole system,
Okay.
and that will be coming in shortly.
Yeah, if it's on private property, we can get back and forth in court. I mean, on my side of it. So at the end of the day, if we think that people are doing something that we think is hurting the environment, unlawful, then maybe we'll step in. Or if it's dangerous, you know. Obviously, if people are just killing trees, then we need to do something about it. We have to maybe go to the council and figure out how to pass an ordinance to prohibit some of these things that people are doing. Right now, people do have the ability to keep the city off of their property if their tree is on their property.
Right, okay.
And what was that address with the branches? Excuse me, the address that you said that the branches were in front of?
I'll give it to you in a second.
Okay, you can give it to.
It's the corner of Delavan and Clifton, on the Delavan side. And the tree that's half cut is in front of my window, which is right next door.
Yeah.
Literally, and I have a video of it.
Or do you? We'd like to see that. I would love to see the video. Yeah, if there's any way you can get the video to these guys, I would love to see the video of who's actually doing that.
Yeah.
And this is your private tree.
It wasn't mine. It was
Okay.
his private tree.
Oh,
but
he may have told them to do that.
every other tree
Yeah.
on his property, so one was left.
But still, the city should not be on his property cutting his tree, period. We don't have any jurisdiction to be on people's property cutting their tree. If they did that, they did something that was against policy. Okay, all right.
Good afternoon, good night. I've been complaining about trees on my side. I've lived at 19 Finley Place, and that's in Newark. And for years I've been complaining about this tree. It's been, my children and grandchildren has been having asthma problems because of this tree. Also, they're falling from the nuts that comes on the stairs, and when that falls, and they go down that stair, they slide down on it.
So if it's interesting because the trees actually help prevent asthma, but I'm trying to figure out, you know, is the tree alive or dead?
It's alive, and it's.
Then we can't cut it if it's alive. If it's the public, if it's our property and it's a live tree, we can't cut it.
Yeah.
If it needs to be pruned, we may be able to do that, but we can't cut down a live tree.
Well, it's to my window too.
Right.
It's all the way to the window.
We can prune it so it does not, kind of encroach upon your property. but we can't cut it down because it's alive.
And with all the leaves and the nuts that comes down on the
We can prune it. You want to speak to this? If you can, yeah. But we can't cut the tree down. We can prune it.
Yeah, so we can definitely, as you were talking about, the branches are getting close to the building there, so we can certainly have those branches pruned back so that there's much more clearance. When it comes to things like the acorns and things like that, there isn't anything that we can do for that. But one of the things that we have done moving forward is we've changed what species we plant along streets.
Right.
So we'll be putting those kinds of trees in parks going forward so that we don't have these kinds of issues that you're dealing with. But for the moment, those trees that are existing, we are going to keep them in as long as we can in good health.
Yeah. That ain't gonna help you now, but that tree ain't gonna be a full-grown tree to 20 years from now. But at the end of the day, we can't cut a live tree down. We're preventing that. The problems that we have with no trees are worse than the problems that we're having with the trees. So the reality is we don't kill trees. We can prune them and pull them away from your property. We can do that if you request it, but we can't cut the tree down.
I'm just saying, you see, the things that falls on it,
Right.
I'm not leaving it all the time.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate, and what he's saying is that, right, but what he's saying is that the city, a bunch of years ago, planted the wrong trees on these properties, and so these trees have grown. 20 years ago, they planted the wrong tree. What he's telling you is that we're gonna plant the right trees, but that doesn't help you now. The reality is, it's unfortunate that you have all these things falling on your property. We can't really do anything about it. Only thing we can do to help it from falling on your property is prune the tree back. So it's not encroaching upon your property and falling on your property. We can prune it so it is less, troublesome to you. We can do that. Yep, we can do something about the branches. We just can't cut the tree down.
Good afternoon. I'm Ashton Robinson. I live at 395 Parker Street. To talk to our issue is regarding the trees and the trees interfering with the curves. Who handles that? The curves and the sidewalks?
Go ahead. I'll let him answer. Now, I'll give you the legal answer. He'll give you the scientific one.
So this is what we've been doing is we've been working on this as a partnership between the property owners and the city because there is kind of an overlap in the jurisdiction where the city is in charge of the tree, but the property owner is responsible for the masonry. If you would like to elaborate.
Well, yeah. So legally, you're responsible for the curb. I mean, just in plain talk, right? And just like the woman was saying earlier, you are responsible for the curb. If somebody falls, the insurance company is going to get you, right? That's just a fact. So the arborist, which is good, is trying to create a partnership between the city and the homeowner so we can figure this out together, right? I think it's only right for us to do that. Prior to that, we wasn't doing that. We were just saying, oh, the heck with you. You gonna get sued. We ain't gonna get sued. You deal with it on your own. I think the new policy is good, that we can figure out how to move forward together. Obviously, if we help get the tree intact, right, and you deal with the sidewalk or whatever we figure out, we can do it in a collective way. But ultimately, you're right. Somebody planted that tree 20, 30 years ago, and it grew, and it was the wrong tree, and the roots grew too much, the acorns and things getting on people's property. So now we have a professional person that knows what trees to plant. That don't help you today. It's gonna help your children and your children's children, but not you. But the reality is, yeah, right. But I would say call our office and try to figure out how we can work together to get you out of this pain that you're experiencing, right? Yep.
Not only that, I'm talking about street cleaning now. Back to street cleaning. There's an issue with street cleaning, especially in my area. At times they do come through the area, at times they don't. But when they do, they drive in regular speeds, 25, 30 miles an hour. They sweep the street, the dust going everywhere. There's still trash behind the street sweeper.
Yeah.
The supervisor's not coming around checking to see whether or not it's clean. And I wonder why that is. Supervisor?
No.
Check as far as the speed. If you're driving a motorhome, sweeping,
yes,
it shuts off at 14 miles per hour, so they're not going that fast.
If they're sweeping, if it gets to 14 miles per hour, everything shut off. It'll stop sweeping. So that's how I know they're not going that fast. As far as the line, right now, it's piling coming down. The sweeper is going to come sweep, it's going to leave, it's going to get majority of the piling up, it's going to leave a line. There's nothing we can do about that. It's getting majority of it up, but it's going to leave a line. Now, if they dragging something, if I ride through, I do tell them to come back around. It might be quick because they on time. What's the name? So that's why I come. Yes. Yours is what? Parker?
Yes.
That you in the morning. So you afternoon. So half of them was saying. All right, so they're trying to get your block and everybody else's block in the timely manner. So if they are moving quickly, they probably done slowed up. They probably done slowed up at some point, and that's why you think they're speeding, but they're rushing through, and yes, they might don't look around. No, I'm saying they might be listening, but I'm saying you said 25 to 30 miles per hour. It cuts off at 14. If everything is listening, they go to 15, everything shut down.
Well, they shouldn't be rushing through, and they should be making sure that the job is done. And the supervisor is supposed to come around, and unless I know he ain't coming around, I'm gonna have to take his word for it and say he is coming around. But they do supposed to come behind and check, because we say inspect what you expect. So at the end of the day, there's supposed to be a supervisor making sure. And he's got this information now, and I'm sure he's gonna go back and make sure that this stuff is happening in your neighborhood.
That parking is correct. And any other street in the city of Newark is correct, not just my block. And I've been here for 50 years. All right? So I just want to make sure that my area is clean and every other area in the city of Newark is clean, because we live here.
Right.
I'm sure you live here too.
Yes.
I want the city clean.
That's the good thing about these guys here. They all live here.
Yeah, we all live here. I don't want these issues anymore.
And I do just want to add to the part as you're talking about how Newark is growing from 2018 to now what we're experiencing, right? Thanks to the mayor, the administration, we have a capital improvement plan, right? When we first brought street sweeping in the house, based upon the assessment, a few years ago, you needed maybe 13 vehicles, right? Now you need 25. Same thing with a garbage trucks, all of that, right? So we're growing. We have a capital improvement plan that's in place. We have a phase out. We plan to get 5 refuse trucks each year. We have 7 or 8 motor brooms coming in this year in our capital improvement plan. So we are working, right? What I will say is the best thing is about like meetings like this to be able to communicate, and we can prioritize, and assist in the best way possible.
Well, I hope you're taking notes.
One small tree question. A lot of the people who spoke tonight are in a historic district, and I believe there's an ordinance regarding trees in the historic district. Check it out. I'll check it out. Section 10.
I can review that. I'm not aware of anything specific that really affects our day-to-day operations, but
I think there is, and I'll find it and send it to you. And one more question about the satellite disposal sites, which are fantastic. I've been going to the Verona site, and it's been pretty successful. But I'm like 5'9", and it's really hard to get up over that tip.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Those dumpsters are really high off the ground.
Maybe we need somebody to help you.
If I jump and hurl the bags over, but.
No, we'll definitely have someone there to be able to assist.
Yeah.
Well, nobody assists. They're there. They look at you funny. But maybe, I was thinking more like a ladder.
No,
we can't do a ladder.
A set of steps, like
we can't do that.
Dogs can get up to your bed.
No. Well, I would rather have somebody assist you do that. If you build a ladder and somebody falls, we in trouble. Yeah. If somebody's there and they're watching you do that, and they don't help you, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Or you can just place it on the floor, right? We'll have a bucket come get it, whether it's a mattress, leaf bags, just put it on the side.
So I don't know if this question relates to Public Works, but I don't know who worked with this. And I noticed this 2 days ago in front of, right in Mount Prospect. Probably a month ago, there was a main water break, and whoever came, they fixed it. But now, like 10 feet apart, the road is sinking.
What's going on? A water main break.
A water main broke. They came and fixed it. But now, like 10 feet to the right side, the road.
Where is that? These not these guys. So you have to tell it to me. I'll get it.
No,
the water department. The water department.
The water department. But you can give us the information.
Water department.
Okay. The road is sinking. Boom. Okay.
We'll take care of that. Yeah. That's the water department.
Yeah, there's three things. First of all, regarding the garbage cans that you gave out, and I know everybody on my block got them, but you know what? A lot of them are not using them, you know? They're putting them on the side of the house. Some of them are using them for their parties and putting ice and beer and all that. And I was wondering, is there any way we can get them cans from these people and give them, to people like this young lady? That's one. Number two, it took me a year and a half to get a speed bump in front of my house. At that time, Hess had some money that they gave the city in order to traffic and that, in order to put the speed bump. The only way I got that speed bump, I went to City Hall. I had to do the petition and everything. But the day that they started, check this out. I said, look, if tomorrow I put it on Facebook, I embarrassed these guys and everything. The mayor was a councilman then, all right? Check this out. I said, if you guys don't start drilling tomorrow, I'm gonna have the press out here, and it was bulk day, and guess what? I was gonna have all my neighbors put their garbage and put like slow down the traffic and that. And guess what? 7 o'clock in the morning, and where was it? In front of my house, right in front of my house, okay? So, and another thing is, the guys that sweep, let me tell you, the summertime is hot in the machines, all right? So what I did was I used to give them, some ice cold water in that, right? Okay? But check this out. We have a fire hydrant, maybe 2 houses down from mine, right? Every time they come by, they fill that tank up. And then what they do is they go around, they sweep, and they come around again and fill it up again. So, there's remedies to all these problems in that.
Thank you.
I have a question about sidewalk. In front of my house, I believe the tree has bolted, make it bolt up. Is the city responsible for that, or am I responsible for it?
You are. We just got finished talking about that, so at the end of the day, what he was saying is that we're gonna try to work together to help you resolve this. In the past, we just basically said it's your problem, because that's what the law says, and let you deal with it. But the city years ago planted a tree and it caused this problem. So we're gonna try to work with you to help fix it, but you're gonna have some culpability in it as well.
Yeah, so one of the main things that we're looking for is to determine if we can do any root pruning or any modifications to the size of the tree bed or even the shape of the repaving afterwards to keep this problem from happening and to fix what has already occurred. So it needs to be a back and forth because I would need to be there with the residents' masonry crew or whoever is performing that work for them.
That's important because I've in my time here, there were times when people fixed the sidewalk and got a private person to cut the tree, and then it happened again. So what he's saying is incredibly important because then you just be spending your money, and it's important for us to work together.
I have a question.
Yes.
So if a resident needs to call about their tree, what number should they be calling? Are there emails that they should be emailing? What address you can provide?
So the 4311 number is the best number for everybody to call. And then for inputting online, C-Click-Fix is the most direct way for us to receive that information.
C-Click-Fix. Yep, it's an app. You can take a picture.
How do we know when you come to see our tree? Most of us are working during the day. So how do we sort of coordinate this? And a second question, and I'm still not clear. Are you saying that the city is not responsible for the tree on the curb side of the street?
When you say responsible, in which way do you mean?
It's your tree, is it not?
The city owns those trees, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, yeah.
But the problem is the sidewalk is yours.
I understand that. I'm
Right.
just talking about the tree.
Yeah.
So the tree is yours.
Correct.
So, okay. So again,
Just so when it comes to just inspections or when we're doing something like, routine pruning, in those cases, we generally are not giving real-time updates to the residents just because we don't have that capability at the moment. But you can check in with us later or check See Click Fix to see if there's been a resolution, and you can get the information that way. We do have tree inventory software, so we're able to create work orders and see when they are fulfilled by our crews out in the field. So we can give you that information. We're just not at the moment proactively providing that.
Okay. So this is a new system that you're setting up. Is that what you're saying?
This system has been in place for just over a year.
Right.
Okay. So I've called within the last year, so I'm not quite sure where the backing of information is going. So I have called within the last year, and I've gotten no response, and I've talked to many of your folks on the line, and I believe I've actually even emailed you. So I am going to hold someone responsible for this because we're not getting, again, any sort of input into how this is being resolved.
Yeah, please just email me again, and I will make sure that you get the response and that everything is taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to it immediately.
Is there another question? Okay, so I do have another question.
Yes.
So far as DPW, like what number should they call? Can you tell us about the mattress in the street? Who should we be calling? What's the process? And even also with recycling, I know there's some things that have changed, so can you just explain that?
So, as it pertains to the mattresses, you can reach out to 973-733-3644 or the 311 number. To give you a prime example of what it looks like, right? So the average person on our end is walking 7.5 miles a day, throwing 13 tons or 14 tons of trash. Each ton is 2,200 pounds, right? So like, as we look out of your lens, we also want you to look out of our lens, right? And as the city is growing, right, thanks to the mayor, we just got approved 55 new hires. That is 20 CDL truck drivers and 35 laborers, right? Knowing that it's a strenuous job, the same folks who are responsible for picking up your trash is responsible for picking up your recycling. Today was a bulk day. I think just in one district, we probably experienced maybe close to a couple hundred tons of bulk, right? And then tomorrow we have to wake up and then pick up garbage and so on and so forth. So I want you to know that we are well aware of, some of the things that we need improvement on, but just communicate with us and we'll definitely respond. Your second question was recycling. So we talked about it earlier that continue to place your items out as per the ordinance, right? Between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. What we are asking for you to do is if you can place it out a little bit before 6 because as we begin at work, let's say if your street is the first street that we collect and you don't place it out until 7, right, or 8 or 9, then it may get missed. But to pivot, as we have our staggered shifts with our new hires, we're gonna have a 24/7 service. So what I mean by that is that we'll be working normally Monday through Friday. We'll have a Saturday to Wednesday crew, a Sunday to Thursday crew. So some will start from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Some will start from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. to just be able to service Newark a little bit more better. So that way, if we do miss it, you can always call. Someone is designed just round the clock, back and forth to be able to come. And then to continue to communicate and support you in the best way possible. Did I get every question? Or?
So if we start our traffic earlier, are we going to get a violation for putting
No.
it out? Because some of us
No.
are not
No.
exactly at home at 5 or 6 p.m.
No. So all of our sanitation inspectors and code enforcement officers are well aware that we aren't giving out violations. Again, when we made the change because we had got, that residents were frustrated because we were collecting it, but it was sitting out there much, much longer. It was blowing, right? So every time you find a solution, you open up for another problem. That problem now was that, a lot of residents were asking for us to make the change now, to fix it, to go back, right? We pivoted, we went to a different schedule, and we're trying to communicate and collect it at the same time. It is getting better, just based upon, my assessment, as we continue to communicate, thanks to Sarinthia, having community meetings, social media pages, and finding different ways to communicate, right? Whether it's flyers, Channel 78, mail outs, Instagram videos. And what I will say is that please use your satellite sites on Rona. If there's an issue, I'll leave my number with Sarinthia. You can contact me. Big city, right? And we're just trying to do the best we could with what we got. And I think that we are doing that. And we will continue to serve you and improve.
Can you just please let everyone know what's the satellite site and also the number that they should be calling to the call-in center regarding DPW?
So a 973-733-3644, right? And then you can get transferred around.
Right. And what's the satellite site for the Northwood? What address?
It's on Verona. What's the 61 Verona? 61 Verona. 62? I'm sorry, 62. 62 Verona. And there you can take all of your materials. So what I mean by that, if you don't want to wait to the third Wednesday for your leaf pickup, you can drop it off, right? No construction. Just show your city ID, whether it's mattresses. If you have white goods, you can reach out to that same number, 973-733-3644, to schedule a white good pickup. That's a refrigerator, microwaves, electronics. You can even drop off at your satellite sites, and we'll take it.
Okay. And just for clarity, the C-Click Fix, it is S-P-E, click C-L-I-C-K, fix F-I-X, and you can report the information. So if anybody doesn't have it, that's what it is. I can share it with you after the meeting to report for trees and even garbage dumping. And I guess we can talk about illegal dumping because we do get a lot of, concerns from the North Ward about illegal dumping. So can you just share some information for that?
So illegal dumping is probably one of the biggest issues we have. Just last week I reported a KPI in our meeting with the mayor and administration that illegal dumping, I forget the exact number, but has increased from last year to this year by 111%, right? This is why the new staff, right, to be able to create an illegal dumping task force, partner with MPD, using cameras. We're working on a DPW resident-friendly app with NJIT. Ironically, they just became in second place over the weekend in a contest. It's coming, hopefully it can get approved and come to you, but this resident app is friendly to where you can just log in your email, your phone number. It shows you everything that we talked about, all the way from when your trash is supposed to be picked up, when it's picked up, the events, the calendars, or things that's going on. The best part about that is where we struggled at is, let's just say we may have missed complaints or illegal dumpings from all around the entire city, right? That may come in from a spreadsheet. We'll share the addresses. That is ineffective because we may have the first address is Verona in the North Ward, then it's Weekway Avenue in the South Ward. We spend more time driving back and forth. With this app, you can just take a picture of it, it will streamline it, it has a GPS on it, and it will filter it and schedule it for us. So if Ryan is walking in and he is the 2 p.m. to 10 a.m. or the 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. shift, he has it. He just logs into it and it'll streamline him right there like a GPS, rather than going back and forth. And you spoke to Clyde, and Clyde promised you that we will come, but we spent more hours driving than actually working.
So let me say something, because I have to go to another community meeting. But I want you, if you're having problems with DPW, you should call. And you're not getting the results you need, you should call the mayor's office. You should call us at 973-733-4312. The data shows us with illegal dumping that the problem is we don't have an illegal dumping task force anymore. We used to have an illegal dumping task force. When it went away, the problem blew up to 111% as he was said. We had a police officer out there with a team of folks that were out there in the middle of the night catching people who were in fact illegal dumping, which is usually people, a lot of times people who are not from here, construction illegal dumping, who are dumping construction work. Sometimes it's your neighbors who are dumping their stuff on other people's property, but most of it is people who are not from the city of Newark who are dumping their work in the city of Newark, and we catch them in the middle of the night. And because we've been catching them, it went down, and because we're not out there like we used to be, these folks are back at it again, and so we need to create an illegal dumping task force again with the folks who can be out there from 11 to 12 to 3 o'clock in the morning, which is the time that they do this stuff, that we can catch them and deter people from dumping illegally on our property. And if we catch them dumping illegally, we can actually seize their vehicles too. So that's what also prevented people, because we took their vehicles from them while they were illegally dumping. And so we have to get back to that. That data point tells us that we need that illegal dumping task force back. We've been, people have been assigning people, and rightfully so, to do things that they thought were more important. But obviously the illegal dumping task force did a good job for us, and we need to bring them back. We need to bring them back. And I don't want people to hold stuff. A lot of times we have a problem and we're trying to reach people or do whatever, and we hold it into a community meeting, and by that time you angry as all know what, and you come here cussing everybody out. The reality is that if you're not getting what you think you should get in terms of service, when you're calling people, you should feel free to call the mayor's office, Ms. Taylor, 973-733-4312, to get some redress to your issue, so we can look into the problems that you have. Or feel free to call Cynthia McElroy here, who is in charge of the People's Assembly, who's leading this meeting, who I meet with every Monday, so she can give us community feedback on the things that are happening every Monday at 9 a.m. So if she don't hear from you, she can't tell me what the issues are in this community. So if you live in Forest Hill or this neighborhood and you're having specific issues, the best thing to do is reach out to Ms. McElroy. And remember that I meet with her every Monday at 9 a.m. and she reports without fail, all of the issues that are going on in the city that the community are having problems with. So I would do that. And if you ever want to have a meeting of this kind on your block, in your building, you should call her as well, because she can organize that for you, so you can have a specific meeting just for the issue you have on your specific block, not the entire neighborhood. We can have a meeting just for you and the 20 neighbors on your block, right? And that is very, very, very effective, because we can zero in on your problems only, and not just the whole entire ward or the entire neighborhood or entire community. So I want people to make use of that, because it's been effective for me and for us in handling people's problems that they have in the city. If it's your block and there's things, because sometimes you're having something on your block that's not a problem for 2 blocks over, and we have a community meeting, people are like, I wish you'd be quiet because I have a problem. So the reality is we need to go talk to you about the specific issues that you have. Thankfully today, that most of you have the same kind of issues, and we've been trying to address those as properly as we can. A few takeaways before I go. One, we should not be having changes in anything unless the community folks know about it before we change it. That's number one. If that's happening, you should call and make us stop it until you get the information, until the people on your block have the information. If people are cutting trees that you think are unlawful, you should call our arborists here so we can send folks out to make them cease and desist, or fine them, or whatever it is that we can do to stop them from doing that. If you have trees that you think need to be pruned, you call and you make sure that they're pruned. But remember, we can't cut your tree down. If you're having trees that are pulling up sidewalks, our job is to work with you, because ultimately the law says that you're responsible for that sidewalk, right? All we would do in the past is trim the tree, try to cut the roots. We try to cut the roots, but the sidewalk still is the same, because we're not responsible for the sidewalk, right? And the sidewalk is still disheveled and broken, but we cut a couple of roots. If we work together, we can figure out how to do this in a collaborative way, so the sidewalk is safe, and so the tree is not causing you a problem anymore. It's against city law to cut a live tree, so we can't do that, right? All of our street sweepers have water. They should be using water. If they're not using water, you should probably take a picture or a video of them so we can see that and report that, so we can see that they're not using water. They get the water from the fire hydrants, right? They should be filling it up and using the water. There's a supervisor that's supposed to follow these people around or go check their routes. Same with garbage and recycling. These people should be checking their routes to make sure that things are happening. If the garbage is being picked up, it's not being thrown on the street, there's recycling being picked up. If it's being left for 4 or 5 days and the supervisor hasn't caught that to have it picked up, that's a problem. And you should flag us if recycling is out on your street for 4 days. That means that they missed it and there's no supervisor going to check it, right? Which means that now we have to do something about what's going on, because somebody is falling asleep on the job, right? And the only way we would know that is if you report it. I don't get information through osmosis, so I don't know because you're in your living room cussing us out. The only way I would know is if you report it. You have to report it to my office so that we can double down and figure out how to fix the problem that you're having. Like, if you put it on Facebook, I still won't know because I don't have your Facebook page. So I'm not following you, so I don't know what you put on Facebook, right? So obviously you should try to contact us so we could do something about the issues that you have so we could fix them. That's all. And our job is to make sure your life is better, the quality of life. We're not coming to work to make you miserable, to make you upset, or to make you angry. If there is an issue, you should reach out to our office so we can handle it. And if these guys aren't doing what they're supposed to do, Miss Taylor or Miss McElroy, Sarinthia, has no problem, trust me, on Mondays, telling me the issues that are going on in the city that she gets, right? She says, the community says, I have to say, who is the community, right? But that's what she says, and what the issues are. So we address them if we know about them. So that's why these meetings are important for us, so we can find out what the problems that you have, so we can address them expeditiously. And I feel like we need to have another one soon, because I think there's more issues here, and we need to follow up on the things that people said in this meeting and see if we've addressed it. So, anybody have any questions for me before I walk out of here?
Every alleyway in the city of New York.
Alleyway?
Yeah, every alleyway in the city of New York is getting a multiple development built on.
What do you mean alleyway? Like, you gotta explain that to me. Okay, create density, right. Not everyone, but yeah. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so with that said, these people come with vehicles, and with these vehicles is limited amount of parking space within the city of New York, all over the city. There's no space in the city that you guys can provide for parking for these individuals. Beside multiple development.
So you're saying there's no parking and you want the city to provide parking, is that what you're saying? Well, so it's two issues here. The parking authority wants to meter everybody if I let them, but I won't. The issue is we don't want to put meters everywhere because everybody will be paying for their parking, right? What you can do on your block to remedy that is get permit parking on your block, which will disallow people from parking on your block that don't have a permit, and those cars could be towed. I'm not a complete favor of that, but
It went unnoticed.
well,
They got every
the people. The only way you get that is the people on your block
everyone
signed it.
Signed.
Well, then you should have it.
Still have it.
I don't know why that's the case. If the people on your block signed it, traffic and signals honors that mostly. So maybe there's a specific issue that you should talk to us about and figure out why that's happening. But permit parking is allowed. You know, people on my block complain about permit parking. I don't allow it on my block. I don't want permit parking. But at the end of the day, that's because the people we have a building on the corner of our block, and the people in the building park on our block. So my neighbors are angry because the people in the building park on our block and they can't park there. But I tell them all these people have driveways. That everybody on our block have driveways and they should park their car in the driveway. But people like to park in front of their house and not their own driveway, which causes a problem. And that's the discussion I had on my own block, which is, come on, the people in the building are parking on the street because you have a driveway, park in the driveway. And you know, it's a tough discussion, but the reality is we have to figure out how to be neighbors. And we do need to have public parking. We're creating public parking downtown, but I would say the only answer in these neighborhoods is permit parking. The parking authority want to have zoned parking, which I think would be, I'm not completely in favor of it, but if the council votes for it, then there's nothing I really can do but veto it. But the reality is they want to create areas in a city where only the residents can park, right? Which is, you know, it has pros and cons. The cons is if you get neighbors, if you get visitors who park there and your neighbors are upset, they're gonna get those cars towed, right? I mean, that's just the reality, right? If somebody visits you from out of town and they park in a space that you have designated for people on the block, they're gonna call the police or call whatever, and they're gonna get the car towed, right? And so we just have to think about the con side of the negative side of doing a permit parking. But some blocks have it. But if your block did it and it didn't happen, then there's something wrong on our side, and we need to figure out what that is. If your neighbors want it, then we should be giving it to you.
So I can assist you after the meeting, but we also have Tanya from Traffic and Signals. You can have a conversation with her. Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Is there any questions? Any other questions? Okay. I just want to thank you, Mayor Baraka.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just want to let you know that, let everyone know in the community that we have a doorbell camera initiative. So basically helping you create block associations to get organized. So all you have to do is just get your neighbors together on your block, invite them to a meeting. I can help you organize it. If you already have a block association, you just have to register with my office, and you get up to 15 doorbell cameras per block association once it's created. If you already have one, the good thing is I'll just come to the meeting and distribute them. We want to make sure that we getting these doorbell cameras out, we getting you guys organized, because with a block association, these conversations are important. We're making sure that we're helping you, receiving information, but also providing you with information, especially when you have concerns, like Mayor Baraka said, inviting DPW, or if it's the tree department, or if it's code enforcement, to your actual block, even with the police captain coming to address these concerns. So if there's anybody interested in starting a block association, you can call Newark People's Assembly at 973-733-3265. I can come out and I can help you. Alongside with the doorbell initiative that we have, also we're partnering with DPW with Tyreek and his team to do a lot of community cleanups to help improve the community, right? We want to build a relationship. Even though DPW, they're responsible for cleaning, but we want the community to be very aware, empowered, and over-educated on the different things of how it's important to keep our city clean. So we encourage you to get involved with a lot of the community cleanups that we're going to be having over the next couple of months. But most importantly, making sure your block association is getting involved, or any neighbor for that matter, and also community partners. With that being said, you have anything else to say, or?
No. Well, I'm getting out of line, so I'm good.
So, and yes, I call Tyreek all the time. When the community call me, I call him. All day long, I call him, right? So we just want to make sure that we're keeping the directors engaged. I'm meeting with the directors also weekly to let them know the concerns of the community, because you guys are stakeholders. My office is here to make your voice heard, and that's the most important thing, and we want to keep empowering our community and moving our city forward. Thank you, Mayor Baraka, under his leadership, to make sure we're helping the community.
So there is something that I do want to add. If anyone in here would like, right, to come on a tour to see our operations and see what we do and see what it looks like, right, as it pertains to recycling and trash and responding to illegal dumpings and responding to trees, to be able to see the volume of phone calls, right, to be able to get a look out of our lens so we can begin to humanize each other. I know it's frustrating, it's a tough job, right, but I do know that the DPW team comes to work every day to try to serve the community in the best way possible, and sometimes we fall short of that, but I am certain that we are always responding once we know about it. So thank you for coming out, I appreciate it, and we'll address all the issues moving forward.